Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson Celtic Festival. That's where I'm headed today. Gonna see some friends, gonna play some tunes. Should be pretty awesome.
Hi, could I get a filet of fish sandwich, please?
It's Lent.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
McDonald's filet of fish during Lent on a Friday is about as Catholic as, I don't know, the Pope, I guess.
Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Back on the road. Tunica. I gave some serious consideration to popping over there to play some blackjack. Maybe on the way back. Made it. Finally. Like 6.5 hours, something like that. I gotta get cleaned up because I'm gonna meet some friends, hopefully find a session at some point. Before we do any of that though, we're gonna talk low whistles. Give me like 5 minutes. Be right back. Be right back. Alright, so we're talking low whistles. Now you've got a couple of different... Those are loud. Typically when somebody says low whistle, more often than not they're talking about a low D, which is this guy here, this giant, piece of serious metal you could club somebody with if you had to. That's typically what people are referring to when they say low whistle. That's not the only option. This is an F, and this is an A. After A, you tend to get into more of the high whistle category. I would say this is kind of the first one in the order of size that I would call a low whistle. I'm going to talk about all three of them, and maybe give you some suggestions if you're looking to get one of these, maybe some reasons why not to. Starting with this one, this is the least essential of the low whistles, I would say. There's nothing you can't do on this that you can do on the D whistle. It's the same keys, slight exceptions, but for the most part, you're playing in the same keys on this that you would on a D whistle. And every tune in Irish music can be played on a D whistle, again, with very few exceptions. Now, what this does give you, and the reason why I got it, the reason why I like it, is it gives you the ability to transpose tunes into keys that are still accessible to everybody else. Guitar players, bouzouki, fiddle, box, all that kind of stuff. On a regular D whistle, your bottom fingering is the note D, thus the key of D. On an A whistle, it's an A. The G fingering on an A whistle becomes the key of D. So again, hopefully you're hanging with me on this. It's fairly simple once you do it, but you just kind of get used to it. Now, where it gets a little bit different on the A whistle is in the A fingering, this is the key of E major, which you don't have on the regular D whistle. So that is one advantage. Again, there's just not a ton of tunes in the key of E, so you're not really missing much if you don't have it. The relative minors also work the same way. What would be E minor on a D whistle is now B minor here, and then you get F sharp minor up at the top, which is kind of cool, and again, something you don't have ordinarily. The really fun one, I think, is you can transpose A minor tunes into E minor on this fingering. There's a great video of Mike McGoldrick playing the tune Mist Covered Mountain, which is a good standard jig, and he's playing it on an A whistle, which makes it end up in E minor. And it's an accessible key, so you're not going to be wrangling with guitar players who are trying to figure out capo settings and all that kind of stuff. So it is kind of handy to be able to do that. That's one of those things that works well in a band if everybody's decided how we're going to play those tunes, if we're going to transpose those. It doesn't really work in a session because nobody's going to see that coming. They're going to expect to be playing it in the normal key. Keep that in mind. That's what this thing is useful for. It just has kind of a cool low sound. That's that Mist Covered Mountain. I'll link that down below. You can check out McGoldrick's version. It's pretty awesome. Now the F whistle is particularly useful for playing with singers because you're going to get into some keys like F, B flat that you can't get at all on the regular whistle or the flute without a lot of work. So there is something definitely handy about this. It's also got a great low sound. So it's got just a really cool mellow sound. Again, not particularly useful at a session. unless you play at a session with Highland bagpipers or small pipes or something like that where they're playing in B flat. But it is useful if you need to reach those keys. Also, if you just enjoy the sound of it, then it's one to get. Personally, this is my favorite whistle that I own. And unfortunately, I don't get to use it all that often, just because there's no need for it at a session. But when I'm sitting at home practicing, this is what I'm usually playing, just because I like the sound of it. Big dog is the low D. Again, this is kind of the standard one that everybody thinks of. If you saw the show Riverdance, there's low whistle featured in that. That was a low D whistle. This is one of the only whistles, maybe the only whistle I have that's not made by Gary Humphrey, because this one I got in Ireland from Killian O'Brien a long time ago, probably 15, 20 years ago. And it's wonderful. It's a great instrument. You can see it's fully tunable. He's even got cork lined around here like a flute would have. This is an incredibly well-made instrument. And I played it when I was in my previous rock band days. We had probably 3 or 4 songs where I used it, and I just kind of liked the tone of it. And since I left that in 2001, I've probably played it 5 times. In fact, I think this is the first time it's ever left my house, because it's just not something I ever do, which is a shame because it's a great instrument. It's really well built. It sounds lovely. And the reason I got it was because I heard a recording from the band Solace, flute player Seamus Egan, who was playing low whistle on this one tune called Paddy Taylor's, which I think I did a video on a long time ago. But I heard that and it was just the coolest thing. I knew it wasn't a flute, it was a different sound, but I really like that tune. So I'm just going to run through that real quick so you can hear how it sounds. Low sound is just... However, the reason why I don't play this is because I also play the flute and it's the same octave. To me, I can do more with the flute than I can with the whistle and get that, that same strong low end is the same octave range. So that's why I just never play it anymore, which again is too bad because it really is nice. So if you like that sound, if you're not playing the flute, and especially, it could really add something to your style, your versatility. So if you want to check out a low whistle, I recommend these. They're great. I don't even know if Killian O'Brien is still making whistles anymore. This was so long ago that I got this. Gary Humphreys does low D whistles. I imagine they're fantastic because I haven't played one that I didn't like, but I don't personally own one, so I can't say that for a fact. I would be surprised if any of you guys ordered one and said it wasn't any good. That would blow my mind. I'm sure it's wonderful. So hopefully that does you some good. I'm going to go right out and find some tunes now. I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers. Jackson, Mississippi. Can't do it with the shirt off. I gotta go, come on. God. Jackson, Miss. Come on. I can't wear the shirt. I can't actually wear the shorts.